for so many years, and I still have my accent embedded in me. It has not left me, and I really hope you are able to understand everything I say, which I'm sure you will, because I'm gonna do my very best to speak properly. So anyways, I thought I would make this video to just talk about the time when I tested positive for COVID, which was not too long ago. It actually happened around Christmas and New Year's Eve, which was only a few weeks ago. And I wanted to just share a bit of how my symptoms appear, and also the recovery time frame, the treatment, and everything I went through while I had COVID. Okay, so I actually am fully vaccinated. I have received my 2 doses of Pfizer, and I pretty much thought I was immune to it. I was invincible. I would never get COVID in my life because I'm vaccinated, and also because I'm young. So I would never thought I would get COVID. And just for my people out there who are anti-vaxxers or don't believe in COVID, I respect your opinion and I don't argue with you. However, I have experienced COVID. I know what it's like, and therefore my beliefs have swifted now more than they were before. I was actually hesitant to get my vaccine at the start, but the government actually bought me. And if the government is watching this, they actually say for those that have been fully vaccinated, they would be able to, just live their life normal and have freedom. Whereas the ones that have not been vaccinated or refused to get vaccinated, they were only allowed to leave their homes and finish their lockdowns around the 15th of December. So Australian government wanted to reach got a target of 95% vaccination for all the Australian population, and they still left a minor of 5% rate for those that don't want to be vaccinated for whatever reason, because it's not just the people that don't want to be vaccinated because they have all these conspiracy theories or they just anti-vaxxers, but because they have medical exemptions, like legitimate reasons that they cannot be vaccinated because they are allergic and they may have adverse reactions to whatever the vaccine contains, which can cause them multiple conditions or in some cases the dead. So I respect that, and I honestly don't have anything to say about that. Anyways, so I tested positive for COVID around Christmas and New Year, so I attended this wedding around the 15th of December, and I actually didn't check, I think it was the Saturday, and on the Monday, my friend that was sitting next to me at the wedding actually messaged me and said, look, I tested positive for COVID, can you please go get tested, just in case. And I was like, yeah, sure, but I was asking her, how you feeling, are you okay? She's fully vaccinated. She's like, yeah, it's just mild symptoms, I'm feeling okay. And her husband that was sitting next to her and obviously lived with her didn't get COVID at all. So there's that. So she tested positive for COVID, but her husband didn't. And anyways, I went to get my test done in a nearby spot. It was a drive-through, so what you need to do is obviously drive your car, and they do it on the spot and just drive off, and you have to wait for the results from 24 to 72 hours. So turns out that a lot of the people that took part in the orchestra and also the show, because it was a Christmas show, like the singers and dancers, tested positive for COVID, at least 60% of them. So they sent us an email telling us that we need to get tested because we are close contacts. So again, I was like, oh, there is no way I got it. I'm fine. I'm invincible. I didn't get it the first time. I'll be just fine. My immune system is the top. But little did I know. So anyways, I went and got tested. I went and tried to get tested. But around this time, because everyone got the freedom back. Not everyone, but most of the people got the freedom back. They were out and about, leaving their houses, leaving the places, like the pandemic never happened. And a lot of people started to receive messages from the government advising them that they are close contact. And I just explained a little bit why do we get messages from the government, because there is a QRG system that the government is using for us to just with our phones scan that QRG, and it's like a tracking system that they are using to see who's got COVID and in which places they've been to, so they can let the others that have been in the same place know that they are close contact and they need to get tested and monitor their symptoms and, make sure they're doing okay. So before vaccinations were available for everybody, this was a must. We all had to do it, but we were also in lockdowns, so it was a way of tracking who is breaching the lockdowns and not following the government regulations. So it was also a system to track that. But anyways, so a lot of people got their the text message from the government telling them that they've tested, but they are close contacts and need to get tested ASAP. So I went and tried to get my test done. I should say one day before this, I was already feeling sick. So I was starting to cough, and it was dry cough, first COVID symptom, and it was gradually getting worse and worse and worse. But I still was thinking, I do not have COVID. I'm doing fine. I'm not gonna get COVID ever. So anyways, I went to this place to get tested, and I was starting to feeling really weak, and there was a 2-hour waiting time. It was the hottest day ever, and I was like, no, I'm not waiting here. I'm feeling so sick. So throughout that day, things got worse, and this was on the 23rd of December. I was just feeling so tired, so weak, ready for bed. I've never felt this weak in my life. I can tell you, this was the weakest I ever felt in my life. I was just feeling so down physically and mentally. I couldn't cope. On the 24th, no, like that was the worst day of my life. I honestly, on top of that, it was Christmas Eve, and I was not able to see my family because border restrictions in Australia are not fully open, are not fully lifted. So there's no guarantee that if I leave Australia to see my family overseas, I will be able to come back right away. And also, they can't come in because they're not allowing yet. There's only a few places. I think Japan and Singapore are the only countries that can come in with a tourist visa to visit or to do tourism in Australia. No other countries are allowed. However, there are other visas, but I don't want to go into it because it's a long thing to go. But my family will only classify for tourist visa, and they're not allowing yet. So fever. I was just feeling very tired, couldn't eat anything, lost my appetite, lost my hearing, lost my smelling, my taste buds, everything was gone. But anyways, I waited, and then it's like a pregnancy test. I don't know, maybe some of you already have done it. In your country is now compulsory, like it will be in Australia very soon. So it's like a pregnancy test. So it came up with two very thick lines. The lines were super thick, and it turns out that that's actually really bad symptom. My symptoms are quite widespread and worsening, so I have to keep that into consideration. Anyways, so what I did, I ended up just leaving it there. I went to the hospital on the 25th to let them know, like, I was just feeling really sick. My mom told me, just go to the hospital, right now, like. And then I went to emergency, just told them how I felt. They tested me if I can actually breathe or if I need oxygen, and I was breathing with difficulty, not like a normal breather. There's no way I could breathe normal because I got tired really quick. And I was breathing with difficulty, but not to the point that I needed oxygen. I was still able to breathe, but not to the point that I needed oxygen or going into ICU, thankfully. Anyways, they told me to monitor my symptoms closely, and they got all my details. They will keep track of me, and to give them a call right away, they will send an ambulance. So yeah, I was okay. So the 25th, Christmas Day, was the worst day. Was the worst day where I had to like really just settle down and take it easy and sleep, and drink a lot of water. I was not eating at all because I just felt like I wanted to puke the whole time, like, honestly. And I had a lot of food in my fridge, to be honest, because I was planning to make a meal for Christmas lunch with a couple of friends, but that couldn't happen. And I had some friends dropping things off at the garage door and then running away because there's a risk of COVID that I could pass it on to them, and I didn't want that, so they came by surprise and dropped those things to me, and that was so sweet of them. I'm honestly very grateful for them. So I kept on going through the symptoms. So on the 25th, 26th, 27th of December, the symptoms started to decrease gradually again, and I was getting much better. My hearing only came back 2 days ago. Fully, well, not actually. I think I could say that I would have around 96% of hearing, but I can still feel like that. It's not fully recovered. So, and by the way, I clean it properly. So I'm not sure what it is. I didn't have to clean it consistently, just to see a difference, notice a difference. So anyways, I did my rapid test again on the 1st of January, and at this day I tested negative. So it took around a week and a half for me to get better, and I was still not fully on my feet. I was still experiencing cough, and my nose was blocked. And yeah, I think gradually the symptoms were disappearing, but I was still having those symptoms with me. But anyways, that was that on the 1st of January. make sure you drink a lot of water. So the secret is to drink a lot of liquids, a lot of water especially, and chamomile tea. By the way, I forgot to mention I didn't take any medication because I'm an anti-medication person, although I went ahead and got vaccinated. But I do not take things like neuroprofen or pain medication or antibiotics. I have never done that, but I'm vaccinated, which sounds a bit hypocrite. But I just thought I'd put that fact in there. But anyways, if you do test for COVID, if you test positive for COVID, make sure you're communicating with a doctor and drink lots of water. If you lose your appetite, it's completely fine. Just make sure you have water on and on, because if you use your appetite, but your body will use whatever is reserved in your body to survive. No one really